The sight of this, a mound of rice, it gives me indescribable joy. Today we're gonna make one of my all-time favorite comfort meals, Doenjang Jjigae. It's so easy to make, but tastes so good. It's a very traditional Korean dish. If you've ever been to a Korean restaurant, you've probably had it. If you haven't had it, it tastes like a very strong, concentrated miso soup. The main ingredient for Doenjang Jjigae is doenjang. This is fermented soybean paste. Now, don't get intimidated by the phrase fermented soybean. It tastes outstanding, and a little bit goes a long way. One of the reasons I love making this dish, of course, is, like I said, it's so easy, it's brainless, it tastes amazing, and it's so good for you. Those are like 5 reasons. But the other reason I love to make this is because it is so comforting. If you've had a tough day, if you're just really tired from work or running around after the kids, or if something bad's happened recently, maybe you had a fight with your parents, or you had a fight with your BFF, or something didn't go right with your partner, this is one of those stews that's going to instantly make you feel a little bit better. It won't get rid of your problems, but it'll remind you of all the good things in life. Now, one of the things that makes this meal so comforting is that I pair my Doenjang Jjigae with a very simple and easy Korean fried rice. And when I mean simple, I mean like literally dump and fry. There's no chopping involved. We're gonna be using frozen veggies and just a little bit of oil. That's about it. So let's get started with the ultimate Korean comfort meal, 볶음밥 or Korean fried rice with Doenjang Jjigae. We're gonna start by chopping up all the vegetables. I've got here some rather gnarly green onions that have seen better days, but they're still good enough to use. Do not throw these away. The white parts you're going to use to actually cook the stew, and the green parts you're going to use as garnish at the end. Okay, white parts for cooking, green parts for garnish. Potato. I'm keeping the skin on because the skin is where the flavor's at, but if you don't like skin on your potato, of course you can always peel the potato, but you know what? That's just more work, so I'm not doing it. So as you can tell, I've left my hair down for this video because people are always saying, oh my God, your hair's so pretty, you should like wear it down more. But all that means is there's a substantial likelihood that there will be hair in this evening's meal. So story time. I included this dish, like I said, in my cookbook. And believe it or not, this is probably the second most popular dish in my cookbook, which like totally floored me. I didn't think people would like it. I thought people would be super intimidated by the doenjang because I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't look pretty, okay? Brown food is always very difficult to make pretty, although we will try. In any event, I do remember though, somebody wrote an Amazon review for the particular brand of doenjang that I recommend in my cookbook, saying that they bought that doenjang upon my recommendation as per the book, but that as soon as they opened it, they were so disgusted with the smell of doenjang and they never wanted to use it again, and my God, it's been weeks and it's still stinking up their house. And I just remember thinking, yeah, well, that's exactly why I recommended it. The stinkier it is, the tastier it is. That's how fermented food works. And as I've mentioned at the outset, this is a fermented soybean paste. This is a fermented soybean stew. So, moral of the story, do not be afraid of stinky food. Be afraid instead of people who are afraid of said stinky food. Zucchini. My mom told me that you really can't make a good Doenjang Jjigae without jalapeno or some other green chili. It gives it this really bright heat that marries so well with the hearty, rich umami of doenjang. So we're gonna add just a little bit of jalapeno here. If you are sensitive to spice, then you can skip the jalapeno or just add a very small amount. We're also gonna add just regular onion, not just green onion, but regular onion, but joke's on you, I've already chopped some in advance. I was making some spaghetti the other day and I found out that one of my guests really doesn't like onion. So I chopped up all this onion and didn't end up actually using any. The other ingredient we have, of course, is tofu. Tofu. I'm using just regular firm tofu. You can use extra firm tofu. You can use medium tofu. Okay, let's do this. Beautiful. Do you need to press this beautiful block of tofu? No, don't do it. When you press the tofu, you are removing from it so many of its beautiful magical qualities, so do not press the tofu. Now you can cut this tofu in whatever shape you like. I'm gonna do the traditional shape, or I don't know if this is traditional, but this is just the shape that I'm used to growing up. I'm just gonna cut it into slices like this, about, well, maybe like 1/2 inch to 1/3 of an inch thick. You can dice them into cubes, you can cut them into squares. We're gonna cook our doenjang jjigae in a 뚝배기. This is an earthenware or clay pot. A lot of people confuse 뚝배기 with 돌솥. 돌솥 is a stone Korean pot. This is not made out of stone. This is made out of clay. You can find both of these online, but you can also find these at your Korean grocery store. If you want to make doenjang jjigae, sundubujigae, kimchi-jjigae, all the different kinds of Korean stews and soups, you want to get yourself a, say it with me, 뚝배기 or Korean earthenware pot. Start with very low heat. We're gonna add toasted sesame oil. And if you have it, also add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. What that's gonna do is, if this is your first time making it especially, it's gonna prevent the toasted sesame oil from burning. We're gonna add to this just about a tablespoon of gochugaru. If you like your doenjang jjigae or your food extremely spicy, add 2 tablespoons of gochugaru. What we're doing right now is we are toasting the gochugaru. Why is that important? Because when untoasted, the gochugaru can taste a little bit raw. You know how raw flour doesn't really taste good when you add it to your roux? It's the same idea. And you'll know that your gochugaru is ready when you start to see it turn this sort of bright orange yellow color like we're seeing here. Now that we have that, we're gonna add all of our veggies. We're gonna start with our scallion whites, a little bit of regular onion, add a little bit of garlic. I'm just gonna do that. Look at that. Now we're gonna add our zucchini. We're gonna add our potato. Now it's time to add our star ingredient, the doenjang, fermented soybean paste. Doenjang tastes a lot like miso, but a very concentrated miso. So this is what it's gonna look like. Again, don't be intimidated by its appearance. I'm gonna take a big scoop of this, okay? That's probably about 3 tablespoons. And we're gonna add it directly to our vegetables. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to coat the veggies with that doenjang. Why are we doing that? Because the doenjang, together with the fat, i.e. the sesame oil, that's gonna make the sauce extremely sticky. And that means that when we add our liquid, when we add our vegetable broth, that sauce is going to penetrate the walls of our veggies so that our veggies taste super tasty in our doenjang jjigae. Next, we're gonna add our soup soy sauce. If you don't have soup soy sauce, it's a particular kind of soy sauce made for jjigaes and soups. You can just use regular soy sauce. We're going to deglaze our 뚝배기 with just a couple tablespoons of soup soy sauce. How good does this already look? Vegetable broth, or you can just use water if you don't have veggie broth. One of my secrets to really good jjigaes is to add a little bit of dashima or dried kelp. This is really going to amp up that flavor. And this is even for people who don't like seafoody flavor like me growing up, but that's you're not going to object to this flavor. Like it doesn't taste like overly seafoody, trust me. I'm just going to add 1. We're going to let this come to a boil and then cook it until the potatoes are fork tender, which is going to be about 15 minutes. That was not as elegant as I would have liked. Wow. Now that that's done, we're gonna set that aside to make our 볶음밥 or Korean fried rice. High heat, we're gonna add extra virgin olive oil. Frozen veggies. Microwavable Korean rice or 햇반. No one's gonna judge you for this, okay? A little bit of soy sauce, just a teaspoon. A little bit of sesame oil. Toasted sesame seeds. How good does that look? That looks amazing. We're gonna put our rice. The sight of this, a mound of rice, it gives me indescribable joy. It smells so good. Can I miss you? Why aren't I with you? In this autumn rain, okay, it's time to eat. You always got to take a spoonful of the doenjang before you eat the rice. Amazing. Oh, it's so good. Make this meal and then do exactly what I'm doing right now, which is eating it like this. And I promise you, you're gonna feel like you're in your own Korean drama.